Welcome back. I gotta put it out there. You know what? This is for the gentlemen out there, for the guys out there. All right. I know there's a lot of good guys out there, but there are also bad guys, and this is a guy channel to let guys know how to improve themselves or make them realize what they're doing wrong. Right. In this episode, I'm putting you in blast of deadbeat dads. Right. If you're a deadbeat dad, right, just step your game up, man. You're making other men look bad, and you're giving these women more arsenal to bash other men right now, right? If you have a kid, don't neglect that kid. Try to do whatever way to be involved in the kid's life, right? If you're in a divorce relationship, she divorced you, right? Um, do whatever it takes to be in the kid's life. Don't be not involving in your kid's life, right? I know the court system might be against you, but do whatever it takes. Sometimes you can be conniving as well, but at least you're involved with your kid. I'm not saying do something illegal, right? I'm not advocating anything illegal, but at least do something where you can somehow get involved with your kid. Like, say, for instance, right, if your kids play in the basketball game, right? If your kids is in the school basketball team, and the mom get 100% child custody, you know what you can do? You go to your school basketball team, buy a ticket, and just watch them right there, and make yourself known that you're there for them. Right? Something like that, something along that line, to indicate that you're with your kid. Don't just simply abandon your kids. There's nothing more that I hate about men when they just abandon their kid and abandon their responsibility. You are old enough to breed with a woman. Why aren't you just step into a line and take responsibility? Right? I just don't understand that with most men. Right? Just take responsibility. Right? I know the court system might be against you, but there are ways for you to be involved with your kid's life. There are ways. I mean, you just have to find the ways. I'm not a father, so I can only speak from, I can't speak from experiences. But if I have kids, if I ever decide to do have kids, I will do whatever it takes to be involved with my kid's life. I probably won't take it to extreme measures like violate the law, break the law, because I don't condone that. But show involvement, because if you don't show involvement with your kid, destruction will happen, right? Those kids on the news right now, right? Those kids causing havoc, being a menace to society. What are the reasons why they're doing that? Because they're missing a father from your life. A father applied authority. All right, they don't have that structures in their life. Right? Don't be a deadbeat dad. Right? I know guys innately they don't want to be a deadbeat dad. They don't want to be. It's usually the guys, the reckless guys what who's abusing drugs and all that stuff. Like, bro, get your life together. I know his life is hard, right? I know life is hard, but at some point you gotta strengthen up, man up, and take responsibility for your action. Right? You're only making it bad for other dads out there. You're only making it bad for every man out there. Right? Men, responsible men. They don't deserve this. Right? They don't deserve you being a deadbeat dad. Because you being the type of father you are, the type of guy you are, this is why there's all these single mothers out there. Yeah, I know. I understand that some of these relationships are due to the woman as well, right? I understand that. It takes both sides. It's not only just one side of the party that's responsible. It's both sides of the party. But for you as a man, do whatever it takes to be involved in a children's life. And if you are in a relationship with a woman, right? There's no reason for you to neglect your kid. There's no reason for you to excessively abuse your kids. There's one thing I hate more than a deadbeat dad is a dad who excessively abuses their kid. All right, I mean beating them up. Like, you don't need to do that. There's other ways of punishment. Right? You don't need to get extremely violent with your kid. This is how you build resentment. Alright? You can go out to be resent you. Next thing you know, they're gonna identify themselves as the other sex, and then they come out the closet and this, that, and the third, etc., etc. You know what we're talking about. The craziness we're going through right now, where kids are identifying themselves as some other things when they're not. Right? These are caused by fathers not being involved in their children's life, whether they're male or female. Right? So if you are not involved with your kid's life, they can do all this kind of stupidness that's we're going through right now. So you have to be involved with your kid's life, right? Ask them what's going on in school. What's your hobby, right? Some dad out there right now, most dad out there don't even know what their kids like to do. Don't even know what their kids' hobby. Don't know anything about the kids. They just work and come home. Work, come home, drink beer. Work, come home, drink beer. No, if you are a father, if you're a parent, you have to step up to your plate. You have to be involved with your kids. You have to teach your kids skills as well, right? Help your kids do homework, right? There are dads out there who don't help their kids to do homework at all, right? Who don't ask them what happened in their day. Who are their friends? There are some guys out there don't even know their kids' friends, right? Know your kids' friends. Know your daughter's friends. Know who they hang out with. Know who's their bad influences, right? Do whatever it takes. This is why we have a generation of beta male growing up. Because they don't have any strong father figure in their household to look up to. And they have to find other means of finding another role model to look up to. This is why we have all these generations of kids growing up to look at celebrities, sports athletes, right? The role model is supposed to be their parents. Their parent is supposed to be the role model. Not movie star, not athletes, not celebrities, not politicians. None of these people are not role models. Some of these celebrities came from a dysfunctional household. Their house is not even in order. They're all filing divorces and don't get along with their family members. These are terrible role models to look up to, right? The role model is the parent, the dad. You're supposed to be the role models, right? Stop being a deadbeat. Take care of your damn children, Take care of them. If you're, like I said, if you're old enough to breed, you're old enough to lead. You have to lead by examples. Teach your kids new skills. Take them to the shooting range. Tell them how to operate a gun. Tell them how to use a gun. Not just a boy, a girl as well. Tell them how to use a gun. Tell them how to protect himself. Tell them how to protect himself. Tell them to stand up against bullies if they're getting bullied from school, right? Tell them math problems. If you don't know math, if you don't know anything about math, learn math and teach your kid about math, right? Don't depend on the school to be a babysitter. Right? If your kid's struggling to read, you teach your kid how to read. Right? Don't depend on the teacher. You have to be involved. When it comes down to it, all the problems that we're going through right now stem it from the family. It starts from the family. If the family is not united, if the family is not structures, the kids going to turn out to be whack jobs. Right? The family, there comes to a time where people have to realize a broken home is not an ideal home. Right? Kids who come up from a broken home usually do the worst in schools and the worst in life. Don't get me wrong, there are exemptions, right? But there are very few of them, right? I'm talking about the general statement. But dads, you're supposed to lead your family, lead your wife, lead your kids, right? I understand it's tough to be a dad these days because you have to go to work, you got to deal with people at work, you got to deal with life, right? But you know what? Man up. I understand it's tough. But men, you could do it. Men, you could do it, man. I believe all men could be great fathers. We did it before back in the 50s, 50 years ago, right? The golden ages, right? The show Leave It to Beaver. What? I'm talking about old shows. Leave It to Beaver was that. Andy Griffith Show, all that stuff, right? Role models. You need to step up now. Or else we have a generation of degenerates, right? Going out there, a generation of simps, weak boys, not realizing how to identify themselves, right? Not realizing that they are male, not realizing they're female, and try to identify themselves as something else which they are not, right? Saying there are multiple sex and multiple genders, which clearly is not, because science proves it, right? But I digress on that. But if you don't show leadership, right? Because that is supposed to be the leadership of the family. If you don't show leadership, the society will collapse. You need to step up and show leadership, right? I know it's not easy. I know it's easier for me to say, and it's tougher it is to do. But somehow you gotta get up there and beat the odds and become a great father out there. Because if you don't, your lineage can be in disaster. The legacy is gonna be in turmoil, right? You're going to have kids growing up to hate their fathers, All right, I don't want that in the future. I don't want kids to grow up hating their fathers. A father should have as much respect as a mother as well. Right? Father deserves much more. Father is the backbone of the family. All right, so stop being a deadbeat dad. Stop being weak. Stop being a beta male simp and get involved with your children's life. Be stern, be an authoritative figure, and be a strong role model in your kid's life. Teach them something. Teach them new skills. Don't depend on other people to teach your kid for you. All right. On that note, guys, if I'm missing something, leave a comment below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll be back with another video. On that note, guys, peace and blessings.